Hey, I'm Karita Griffith Walker here to talk with you today about a way to help our students to keep growing as dancers. So, if you are looking at your students and wondering how can I help them to keep growing, whether it's your more advanced students, your beginner students that you're just bringing in what ways can you get them excited about continuing to grow? And I think the first way to do that, and that's what we'll focus on today, just one thing today that we'll focus on is for us to continue to grow ourselves as educators. Right? So, the number one way, the best way that we can keep our students growing is for us to continue to grow, not just as dancers ourselves, but as educators, to continue to develop ourselves and to keep growing as educators, right? That's a different bag. We know that, right? So, even I just realized that I have my tap board back there, part of my tap board. Now, the thing about that is, so as actually as a great example, I think about, when I had those done, I actually asked my dad to build those for me. That is one piece of four pieces of a tap floor. And I had that built because back when we could like go places, I would go to schools to do some school assemblies about the history of tap dance, right? So all these different aspects of it, the racial aspects, the general more aspects of it, do some tap performance and bring some students of mine along. I would do this with all ages, kindergarten and up. Really great thing. But for me to do it, I needed for it to be easy, right? So I wanted to do it in a way, and I wanted to travel in a way that helped me to feel confident, and helped it to be easy for me to get in and out of schools. Now, every place that I would go, some of them would have tile, some would have carpet, and places that I didn't want to dance, in tap shoes. So I needed the floor, but I wanted the floor to travel with confidence, with ease. And I told my dad, I'm like, I want to be able to hold it myself. I want to be able to pack up the pieces myself. I want them to fit into my Toyota Corolla, into that trunk. So the dimensions of each piece has to be this. They have to fit on this dolly, and then I can just like wheel it in like easy, right? And then I can go in, set it up, slide the pieces, bada bing. That I wanted to be able to do it myself. I wanted to have that ease to do it with, right? And so that was the whole process behind that specific kind of boards that my father designed for me. He's a retired carpenter, so that's like his bag. Um, so I know that's kind of a random thing to tell you, but it's not, because I would think about those things for us as dance educators. Like, I want us to come to continue to grow in our confidence, to continue to grow. In our effectiveness, and to let our work be easy and joyful. And how important is that for us right now? Because we're all exhausted and mildly burnt out. Right. So you want to be thinking about that. Now, one of the traps that we kind of fall into sometimes, or I've definitely seen many teachers falling into, is committing to getting through the week. Right. So it's like, okay, this exercise will get me through the week. This little lesson idea or this little history video, this will get me through the week, to kind of check off that box. And we will commit a significant amount of time, even 30 minutes, to that, to getting through the week. Right. But what if we took that same time and helped and used that to develop ourselves into stronger educators, like to for ourselves to develop our knowledge base, our qualities, our skills as educators, as communicators, if we spent the time just a step back from that one exercise, that one lesson, and went back a step to ourselves and how we're showing up in the space and our knowledge, qualities, and skills that we use to show up in the space, and spending our time on those things, I think pay off way more in the long run. To spend 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, a week on that, I think would bring more confidence, more ease, more joy to our work than spending that same amount of time to get through one exercise that will last for a week or two. You see what I mean? Like, so I know that for the Tap Teachers Lounge program that I created, which is an online tap teacher training program that I'm running this summer, I call it that in part, one, because I thought it was kind of fun, like Teachers Lounge. I'm like, oh, that's fun. But also, I want it to be about being more easy for us as teachers. I wanted us to teach with more ease, to teach well, to teach to a level of excellence, but to let it be easier than sometimes we're making it, right? And so, again, that same idea of like, we don't need to be chasing after like this exercise to keep the kids interested this week, and I need another trick step, and like that kind of thing. Like, let's look at us and develop ourselves as educators so that we have a ton of things, that our bag is bigger. We can bring more out of ourselves to make any class better on the fly, and I don't need to go find a new exercise to do that, right? I can develop that because I have that bag of knowledge and qualities and skills to bring to the table. And I can do that with more ease. I can do that with more joy, right? Then I got to find something, right? Then that kind of an energy. So that's why I call it the Tap Teachers Lounge, because I wanted to have for us to commit to doing the work that makes it easy for us through our careers. Do you have to putting in work that serves your career as an educator? Right. And then that kind of changes the game for how we feel about ourselves, that we have a certain ease with the work, a certain confidence with the work. Even the Roots Rhythm Race and Dance program that I run for all kinds of dance educators who are looking to introduce age appropriate, like fact based lessons about race and dance history into their work. I created that program in part because I think that in some ways we're making those conversations too hard. We're making them too hard on ourselves and too hard on our students, and I don't think they have to be that, right? And so I figured I could put together some materials to help dance educators to let it be easy, right? Step into the conversation with confidence, right? Step into it being effective, right? So I'm not just going in there and like, here's all my personal stories and let's everybody tell your personal stories. That's not talking about race and dance history, right? If we're trying to inform our students' education, right, let's do that effectively. Let's do that with facts. Let's do that with confidence. And let's have ease with conversation and question and answer and conversation that where we're not tight about it, nervous about it, exhausted by it, or any of those things. It doesn't have to be that difficult, right? And so that's part of, again, like my passion for working with dance educators out in the world is partly that, like, because we're all overworked and underpaid and all of that. And it's like, let it be easy, but also let's come back to the joy of why we became dance educators in the first place. Right. And if we're scrambling all the time, that takes us away from that. And if we're in that rut, or if we're in that place of like not knowing where to start with a new aspect of what we're teaching, then how do our students grow? How do our students grow if we're stuck in that kind of a place where we're uncertain, or where we're like in this rut and we're going like, wow, why aren't they growing? It's like, well, we aren't growing, not in a way that could really bring out more in our students, right? So again, I think that that's the idea, like continuing to commit to growing to be a better educator. I just said a lot of random words. Committing to being a better educator and growing ourselves as dance educators, not just students, is a way to bring more out of our students and to encourage their growth, right? I want us coming to the table with more confidence, with more effectiveness, right? And ease, right? So it's not just that we're just chilling in class and we're not working, but we have an ease in the work that's also bringing out the best in our students. That's educator skill, right? And that's not something that the exercise du jour will give you, right? That's not what that will give you. That's not what lesson plan of the week, whatever, random thing, follow this checklist, whatever. That's not going to give you that, right? We bring that stuff to the table. We command the space, right? It's our energy, it's our knowledge, it's our qualities, it's our skills in the space that command it and bring out of our students the very best out of them. And isn't that what we want? Right. So I hope this is like a nice little pick me up for you if you're as you're thinking about, ways to continue to grow your students at this time. During this time, grow yourself. Like, but really doing like the deeper work as opposed to the exercise du jour kind of a thing. Right. So if you are looking for more resources around tap dance or around race and dance history work, check out my website, karitagriffith.com. I've got a few free resources there that you can check out. A race and dance history kind of a starter guide. 3 common missteps that that to avoid when you're introducing race and dance history to your students. I got free posters for tap dance that you can download and print and share either on social media or print and post up in your studios if you're in studio. Any and all of those things are there on my website. I invite you to go there now, karitagriffith.com, to check those things out. Yes, here's to growing as a dance educator. Have a great one.